What is good, everybody? Let me get Tyler's camera added in here. I forgot we had to do it again.
Trying to keep me in the dark, bro.
Yeah, just trying to keep you hidden, man. Don't want people looking at you too much. I'm scaring off our subscribers, you know. Nah, but we're back for some Thursday night football action with between the Vikings and the Eagles. I think we're gonna have a good game. Should we see a bunch of scoring? Hopefully we get a normal game, no crazy injuries, no major blowouts. These primetime games have been kind of weird, kind of finicky. I mean, the Monday night game was a good game, but Aaron Rodgers going down first possession definitely was less than ideal for anybody's slips that night. So, Tyler, how are you feeling?
I like this game a lot. I hope it lives up to the billing. We got a good passing attack in the Vikings, a good overall team in the Eagles. I think if the game stays close, we have a decent total tonight. So I'm looking to see some offense tonight and keep this daggone game close. Blowouts cost me a little bit last week, so not ready to see that. But it's only a 6-point spread with a 49 total, so you would think it stays close, at least within a touchdown, so we don't have to the teams, grind out and do absolutely nothing to try to score. So I think we got a good one coming.
I agree, and I don't think there's a little bit of injury news on this slate. I know the Eagles are going to be without Gainwell, so trying to figure out what their backfield's going to be like between Swift, how much he's going to get worked in. I would assume he's going to get a decent amount tonight, but he didn't really get that much work last week, which is kind of surprising to me. And then I know the Eagles are also without a couple secondary pieces tonight, so might make their passing defense a little bit more easy to target, which I think we're both on a lot of passing work for the Vikings. And then Minnesota, they're without a couple pieces of their line, so I know their starting center, he's out for sure, and then they have a tackle, I believe, that's also questionable. So definitely bodes well for the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line, who's already really good. So they're having even more of an advantage tonight. So I'm gonna go ahead and refresh the optimizer, and we can start talking about some plays. I know looks like it just was bumped. There was like a 62% combo between Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith that I was eyeing, but I think it may have gotten bumped.
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at that one too.
And then it looks like Cousins and Jalen Hurts is up there close to the top, but I kind of like a couple props separate from them. So I don't know.
Too.
We can.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
Yeah, and if you want to go ahead and start on something that you like, then you go right ahead.
Well, yeah, I actually like Jalen Hurts over 31.5 pass attempts.
Okay, I like Hurts everything today. So
yeah, I think Hurts is fine with pretty much any prop. I think like the Vikings pass defense is pretty atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're very good. He got that last week. He even in not a great game against New England, but he's hit it in 3 out of 5. Even dating back to last year, he's got weapons everywhere. In AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, even Dallas Goedert, who didn't perform last week, but he's got kind of weapons everywhere. Even the guy like Gainwell last week out touched everybody on offense, so at least they're down like a running back. Although we know the Eagles are just gonna plug and play at that position.
Yeah.
But you look at go look at Hurts odds, and he's 31.5, like minus one, just like 140 or 150 earlier. But DraftKings has bumped it to 32.5 at minus 120.
Yeah,
So
see,
we're
that
getting
looks
a
like
full,
most of the books are at 32.5 right now.
yeah. So we are getting a full passing attempt of a discount, and it's a slight favorite to go over on the larger line. So that's one I locked in earlier today as well, and I still really like it.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. He hit this last week, and I believe the Eagles started with a pick six, so they were like just in favorable running game script all week last week for the most part, you know. So
Yeah, he ended up covering it. He had 33 last week, so he covered it about a couple. But yeah,
yeah, I think this will be a line that probably gets bumped to at least 32, maybe 32 and a half come closer to game time. I like Hurts everything, so I can get on board with the passing attempts. I was liking his fantasy score is probably my favorite prop just because you don't really have to be specific on where the production comes from because he's definitely somebody that can run the ball for those fantasy points. But I can definitely get on board with those passing attempts. And another passing attempt prop that I was liking, I believe it's gotten bumped now, is Kirk
yeah,
Cousins. I think he's at 38.5. I took it on a slip earlier today. Um, so I don't know. There's a couple Kirk Cousins props I'm liking too. Like I like his interception prop a lot. If we think he's gonna throw a lot, he's thrown an interception in the majority of his Thursday night football games. We know how Kurt is on primetime games and against a tough Eagles defense. I think he's due to throw an interception, but I can also get on board with any of those Kirk Cousins props. And I think if we have him with a couple guys that we're probably going to correlate later, I think that would be key in our slip. So we can get back to a Kirk Cousins prop here in a little bit after we discuss some maybe their pass catchers. So
yeah. I think a couple of the pass catcher props that I was on earlier seems like they've gotten bumped. Let me go back and refresh it to make sure I did mistake that. But I was on Jordan Addison at 3.5 receptions.
yeah, that's definitely been moved up to
Yeah,
four.
he looked up to four there. Or his yards are fine too, right?
Yeah, I think his yards are also his fantasy score. I think maybe a little too low. I
Yeah,
loved Addison today, so
his fantasy score is at 9.5. The problem is with being at 4 and 42.5, that's only gets you to about 8.2. I don't think his touchdown equity is all that great.
no, probably not.
So I'm not really a big fantasy score guy because at that point you might as well just take his receiving yards because he seems like he has to hit that almost in order to get his fantasy score,
Yeah,
or maybe get an extra reception here or there. But I think I'm more of a yards guy for Jordan Addison at this
yeah,
point.
and he's somebody that can hit this in two catches, honestly. So
Yeah, he's got big time play potential, and it was with as much as the Vikings throw it. I mean, somebody's gonna.
exactly.
There's no way. I mean, and also last year Justin Jefferson kind of struggled with your boy Darius Slay out there.
Yep.
So I think they got to find somebody to go to, and I really like Addison.
Yeah, I think the Eagles. I mean, last year they put a whooping on the Vikings and they took Justin Jefferson away. They tried to make somebody else beat them. So I don't see why they wouldn't try and do that again tonight. Actually, my favorite Vikings pass catcher tonight is T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah,
Um, I his receptions is it's been bumped to 5 on Prizepicks. I think his receiving yards are fine, but my favorite prop is probably his targets prop. I don't know if you've looked at that one.
I've taken that one.
Yeah, so I mean he with uh, Kirk Cousins, he's hit this in 9 and 12 games. He had 9 last week. Uh, the Eagles are going to take away Justin Jefferson. It's going to leave the middle of the field more open for Hawkinson to take advantage of. And I see no reason he doesn't soar over this 7.5 line.
Yeah, I don't like I don't understand the line being that low. To be honest with you, to me it's an easy over. That's one I took in my main slip. Like that's one of my favorite props, honestly, because I don't see any way this dude doesn't get a ton of action. 7.5 is too low. Yeah, too low.
No, I 100% agree. I also like their other tight end. I don't know if you've checked him out at all, Josh Oliver. So this is kind of a weird prop, I think, but I think it's when it's gonna smash. It's only at 7.5 receiving yards, and with the Vikings having some issues with their offensive line with injuries, Josh Oliver is gonna have to play a decent amount, I think, in order to help block. And last week he played 47% of the snaps. I think that number increases today. Last week he got 3 targets on his 47% of snaps. And for whatever it's worth, last year I was looking at the Vikings and Eagles game, and they had two tight ends that played over 40% of snaps, and both of them soared over this receiving line by over 20 yards. So
Huh.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's an interesting find. I've certainly not looked into him at all, but it makes sense with the line not the greatest, and they're trying to bring that extra tight end in there. What is it? It's like minus 130 to go over that 7.5 receiving yards.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
So
he
that's
could do this on
that
one
book
catch easily. So
easily. Yeah, books back that up, and if he's on the field for 47% of the time, 7.5 yards is literally a catch. So yeah, like I said, I think that's probably a pretty good prop. To be honest with you, I did not even look at that one.
yeah, they just put it up. I think within the last 30 minutes, I was looking through props real quick right before I hopped on the stream, and noticed that on there, and I got to looking at it, and I'm like, yeah, that looks very solid. And I think you can play him and Hawkinson both in the same slip and it not be an issue. So
Makes sense.
what else you got?
I'm going back to another tackle prop. We talked about this a little bit last time we were playing Rocket League, but Vontae Maddox tackles.
Oh yeah.
I think so, which is a good thing. I took it a little bit earlier this morning. He finished with 6 last week. Finished with this like against the Eagles last year as well. Just kind of always around the football. He's certainly going to get targeted. He's going to have action coming his way with Kirk Cousins throwing so many passes
Yep.
against a lot of the teams last year that threw a lot, like Minnesota, 8 tackles last year. Weirdly, Pittsburgh, no, I wouldn't say that's a throw a lot team. And then, but even against like Chicago and the Giants last year in a run team, he's down in support. So he's a guy that can kind of do a little bit of both, and especially since the team's going to be pretty heavily involved in that game. So 4.5 seems a little bit low, especially with considering his history against Minnesota and how much they're going to throw the football.
Yeah, I'd 100% agree. And I don't know if you said anything about the odds. I would assume they're still favoring him over.
Yeah, I didn't go back and look to check the
Yeah,
updated.
yeah, he's minus 130 on three different sites to go over that. So
I'm surprised that's not a little bit higher, but I mean, I get it. It's hard to like none of the big books have put odds on him, have they?
no, I don't think so. It was
Yeah, usually they don't.
yeah, it was three of the smaller. Caesars is on there. So
Yeah, Caesars is like the best one for them.
yep. Let's see. Was that how many is that? That's Maddox,
Yeah,
Oliver,
so
Hawk, Addison, Hurts. That's five.
yeah, and we got to do something with your boy.
Justin Jefferson.
No, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, Kirk Cousins. You said my boy, so dude, I want to take Justin Jefferson so bad tonight, but I just can't talk myself into it. I'm just last year's game has me shook, man.
You had him. That was your 5 pick of all Justin Jeffersons last year.
Yeah, dude, five pick, all Justin Jefferson props over, and I'm pretty sure went under and everything except for targets. So, uh, we could do Kirk, and it would probably make sense since we have three Vikings pass catchers. It'd be incredible correlation. Probably,
Mhm.
honestly, either yards or even still pass attempts. Maybe. I do hate that. I hate taking bump props. Um,
Yeah, me too.
there's also Madison under on rushing anything.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's week to week.
also good
Like that.
correlation for us taking all overs on pass catchers. So
So
I
I
don't.
guess which one do you like the most?
Mm, I mean, it probably should be Kirk just based off the way we have our slip right now.
Yeah, and at Kirk attempts yards. What are we rolling with?
I know his passing yards has also been bumped. I think it was. Excuse
It
me.
was 262. I believe I
Yeah,
took it earlier this
yeah,
week.
yeah. I have it listed as 262 in my notes also. So
And
I'm
that's at what 266 now.
267. So I mean, it's
Oh,
not really. I
oh,
mean, it is a 5 yard bump, but like for a game like this, I don't think it should matter too much.
that one shouldn't know.
No. I gotta. I'd like to think that he still hits the passing attempt line, but like I said, a full attempt bump on a prop. I don't know. I don't really love taking stuff like that, but I'm still
Yeah,
fine with
makes
it. I
sense.
don't know if you have a lean either way. He threw 46 times against the Eagles last year, and they scored 7 points. So, um,
I just don't see him anyway. He just doesn't just let her fly. To be honest with you.
I mean, you gotta think. I mean, he's gonna have to be throwing. He's going to be throwing quick passes too, I think, if the Eagles are going to
Yeah,
be in their backfield the entire game with their offensive line being banged up. So I could see a bunch of just little short passes or short quick screens.
I mean, the dude threw 44 times last week against a terrifyingly bad Buccaneers team.
Jeff
Or maybe they're not
Williams
that bad.
Jeff Williams is saying his completions. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's been bumped yet or not. I haven't. I don't
Mm.
know. I don't really like taking completions as much.
Yeah, I'm not a big completions
24 and a
guy.
half. Yeah,
I
he
mean,
he hit this 53% of games going back to last year. So
some of the
whereas,
games,
go ahead.
some of the games they didn't like. He had 20 attempts against Chicago. He beat him 29-13. He didn't have to throw.
Yeah,
Didn't hit it against Green Bay, but they lost 41-17. So I'm sure he didn't play the fourth quarter. Let's see. They go down to the Jets, which is shocking. He got 35. Their defense is really good, so that I get that part of it. And then Dallas, they lost 40-3. Didn't even have to do anything because they got crushed. Arizona, in a close game, to just miss it by 2. Miami, which is a shocker. There must have been some kind of weather or something. But all the games he did miss it on, it's been like a blowout or um, I don't know, like it's just 2 close games last year. I think that he didn't reach it. So pretty much anything that's not just an absolute horrific blowout, he's getting to this 40 pass attempts, and
yeah.
that was last year with Dalvin Cook, right? So I just don't think Madison's going to be used a lot.
No, not like they would have used Dalvin Cook in this scenario. And he threw what 44 times last week against the Bucks, and that was
Yeah,
like that was a pretty close game. And the Bucks
20-17.
like they're not near as good as the Eagles are, so they're more likely to play from behind this game. So you would think he would be more likely to hit 40 this week than he was last week, and he had 44 last week.
Right. That's where I'm at. I still think he goes over the 30 and a half, but I'm good with turning it into something else
Yeah, no, I like
in a
the
different
38 and a half.
bump.
So
Yeah. It's going to be favored a little bit under, honestly. It's not going to be a good AV slip or a good AV play on that one, but it's a correlated play.
yeah, no, being correlated here because I mean we have 3 Vikings pass catchers, which doesn't usually happen a lot, but we have it right here. I don't. Was there anybody else on the Eagles that you were kind of had your eyes on, or I think all the lines
Who we
seem pretty close, other than maybe Devontae Smith for me, but
Yeah, I think Devontae Smith was fine. Who we have just a cornerback and Hurts.
yeah, for the
Is that all we
Eagles,
have there?
yep.
Yeah, I didn't like other than much else on the Eagles. I did kind of look at Devontae. I looked at a couple of different ones there, but I think if I'm playing Devontae, I mean, might be yards and or targets for me. I think.
Yeah, same here. Either one should be good. I've played Devontae on like sleeper a couple times. I mean, he's just a guy that's going to be on the field over 90% of snaps. He plays more than AJ Brown by a little bit. I mean, they're both basically on the field the entire time. I just like that his line's lower than AJ Brown's. Is my reasoning for going to Devontae over AJ Brown personally, but
You talking about his yards?
yeah.
Yeah, I think the targets are the same, 8.5. I think the 5.5 catches are the same as well.
Somebody's saying Rashad Penny. I mean, I would love to play Penny if I knew for sure. I don't know. Have we gotten word on him today? I don't know. I know he was a healthy scratch last week, so he's fine. I guess he has to play today. Uh,
Yeah, he'll play today. I would think for sure.
it's just depending on like how much they're gonna give him. I mean, the Eagles just kind of do whatever they want with running back. I would assume is he gonna be third in pecking order today behind Swift and Boston Scott? So I mean, Scott played
Yeah, if
last
he's a
week, so
yeah, I mean, if he's a healthy scratch last week, then I would assume there's no way they throw him in there and like give him an actual good workload, especially with being a healthy scratch. You
hmm
know, or did I miss something last week and it maybe a little bit more to it than a healthy scratch? But I don't think either
yeah.
one of us missed anything.
It's hard to trust sometimes these Eagles running backs because I feel like they can just run whoever they want
Yeah,
back
just
there. So
whatever. Like, your turn, bro. Like, just go.
yeah,
I don't
exactly,
trust them.
exactly. But that's probably it for me. A sneaky one too is Hassan Reddick to record a sack. He's like minus 140 to record a sack. He's hit this in like 13 of his last 20 games or something like that, counting the postseason. Just if you think the Vikings offensive line just gets wrecked tonight, Hassan probably stands a pretty good chance of getting a sack. So That's another Eagles prop in case you wanted to throw that one in there. Also, oh, maybe Goddard too. He's one that I think you can kind of get buy low on. He put up a goose egg last week, and that's not gonna happen. I think he had the most snaps ran out of any tight end in the league last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Just,
So,
just didn't get any action whatsoever.
I think he got overthrown a couple times too, apparently from Hurts. So, this is a guy he's gonna get his work in. He's gonna get his numbers up. He's not gonna put up zeros probably any other week the rest of the year. So,
How about a Boston Scott 2.5 receiving yards?
no way.
Yeah.
What did he do? What did he do get last week? He had 7 last week. How many catches?
Yeah,
Was it
Bryce
just
at 1 for 7. I'm assuming 1 for 7.
bro?
It's
That
still,
is
I didn't even
interesting.
look. I just seen it and was like, wait, what? Because he'll get more snaps this week.
Yeah, I'm looking up. He played in 12%. He had 8 snaps last week,
Had 1 target, 7 yards.
but yeah, 1 target, 7 yards. Man, that'd be a dude. I kind of like it.
I'm out. I'm not gonna.
I think it's interesting. I mean, 1 catch he's hitting.
He had 6 catches last year.
Goddard has been bumped more than anyone. Yeah, he has. Will said he got him at 42.5 on Sleeper. He's like at 48 or something like that right now on Prizepicks. So definitely a good get.
They're moving up everywhere.
Sean saying Penny running back 2 over Scott tonight. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I would assume you're right. So if Philadelphia plays with a lead like we expect, the script to go, Swift and Penny could split carries at the end. Yeah, I think you're right too about that. It's just, I mean, those 30-yard totals for running backs for the Eagles seems pretty low.
All right, so we have 5, right? We have Oliver, Cousins, Hawkinson, Maddox, and who's the other one?
6. We have Hurts pass attempts.
Yeah.
Jordan Madison over 42.5 receiving yards. T.J. Hawkinson over 7.5 targets. Josh Oliver over 7.5 receiving yards. Avonte Maddox over 4.5 tackles and assists. And Kirk Cousins over 38.5 pass attempts.
Dang.
I'm a little nervous. I've played like most of these props multiple times, so I may be sleeping on the streets after tonight, depending on how this game goes.
Yeah, really. There's no in between tonight. It's we're all in, boys.
Yeah, dude, I love the game tonight. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. Both teams run like the Vikings are gonna throw to 3 receivers and a tight end. The Eagles are gonna throw to 2 receivers and a tight end. They both have quarterbacks that can sling the ball, that can move the ball downfield. So we just need a game script to go according to plan. This is a really good correlated slip, and that's what we're about on these single games. I mean, just trying to correlate and hope we get the game script right. We haven't yet, unfortunately.
We got a 4-2 night
Sunday.
on one of those.
Well, that was Sunday night, and we did not predict that game script at all, right? Was it Sunday night?
I don't know. Whatever we got was 4. We went a 4-2 one night.
Yeah, I can't.
We were right.
Or was that the Sunday main slate?
No, it wasn't. It might have been it was a main slate.
It was. We went 4-2.
I had a great slate. So I went a 5-1, 4-2, 4-2 with our YouTube. Yeah, so I had a good day on Sunday.
Will says he loves the slip. Definitely overexposed to Hawk though. Yeah, no, I am. I've played him in like everything on it, like each app. So
I'm pretty sure I played him on every single app as well.
So this can only go one way, and it needs to all cash out. Anybody got any questions? Got any fantasy football start sit questions for the week? Sorry, I missed reasoning behind Maddox and Josh Oliver. I mean, Josh Oliver, what did we say about him? Yeah, he played 47% of the snaps last week, and we think he's going to have probably increased workload this week just because having to help block due to their offensive line having a couple injuries tonight. For sure, one person being out, which is their center, which is a big deal, and then offensive tackle is questionable, so we're not unsure about him. So Josh Oliver will be in a game to help block. He got 3 targets last week on his 47% of snaps. So, I mean, he can easily go over the 7.5 receiving yards if he even gets remotely close to that work he got last week. And then last year, for whatever it's worth, Uh, the Vikings played two tight ends versus the Eagles, and both got over 40% of snaps, and both went over this line by 20 yards. So
Yeah. And then for the defender in Maddox, he is uh, cornerback, and we expect the Eagles or the Vikings to throw quite a bit because we obviously took Cousins over 30 and a half. So he's targeted a lot there. In last year's games, he went over like 65, 70% of his games, I believe is the exact number, for those teams that were an active passer. But even in some games where the teams weren't big passers, he's good at helping in on the run as well. He's got like minus 130 plus odds on all the books, and he covered this last year against the Vikings, who also threw a lot of passes last year. I think Kirk threw was at 40 plus last year as well. I believe it was exact numbers.
yeah, he had like I think
40.
46. So
Yeah, I think it's 46. That's right. So yeah, he just got a lot of opportunities to go make tackles, being a cornerback in a pass-happy offense against him.
yeah, Will says unless Vegas knows something, dude, I wouldn't
Right.
be surprised at all. Watch this game. I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind. I was gonna. I'm not gonna say it. Um, so this game's gonna shoot out. 3 touchdowns at least for the Vikings and at least 4 for the Eagles. It's happening.
Yeah, that's coming. Like, and we're just gonna meet y'all at the cash counter. We'll be good to go.
Over 50 points scored tonight. We're all cashing out. I mean, there's no way. I'm loving the slip. It's probably my favorite one that we've done so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though. If you want to make a little bit of like a middling opportunity, you can go to play T.J. Hawkins under receptions 5.5 on Parlayplay. You can kind of do like a little middle there
That is true. Because he could
because they
definitely,
got him bumped. They got him bumped all the way to 5.5 on Parlayplay.
yeah, which is pretty high. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm still nervous about that line, but if anybody has any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're gonna get out of here, and we'll be back uh,
Saturday night.
Saturday night. Last time we did a Saturday night stream, and that was a lot of fun. Everybody was asking questions, so
Yeah, Saturday night stream last week was lit.
you sure Eagles demolished? You sure Eagles demolished them last year?
Did they?
I mean, I hope the Eagles demolished him again, honestly, just because it helps out our slip with all this the passing that we're assuming the Vikings are gonna do.
Yeah, I think that should definitely help us out.
By the way, your defender props are dope as fuck. The Bears safety one from last Saturday, fire, or last
Yeah,
Sunday.
bro, that was my play of the day, man. I loved it.
That was a sweat. What's your favorite prop today? Do you have one?
Oh, hold on, let me look at this.
I got mine.
I'm curious on something. Hold on. I'm trying to find where they played Minnesota last year, or where they played the Eagles last year. I can't even find it.
Where they played at?
I'm just trying to see the score. He said they got crushed.
Yeah, it's like 28-7.
I don't even see it.
It was week 2.
7. So yeah, 24-7.
24 to 7. Yeah.
That's right. So play of the day this week?
Yeah. Well, what? No, just
Oh,
just today.
Just just today. Let me go. Let me think about what I put.
I'll say mine. I'm gonna say mine before you steal it, just in case. It's gotta be Hawkinson over 7.5 targets, man. I mean, if he's projected to get 5 catches by Vegas, you're telling me he's got to at least get a couple more targets. Usually guys don't catch every single one of their passes, and Kirk's gonna throw the ball 37 plus times.
It's a primetime game with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He is not efficient, boys. He is not efficient.
So don't be betting on the Vikings to win tonight. I like the Vikings. I love betting on them. They're one of my favorite teams to bet on, but
That's nice.
just not tonight. I don't think they're gonna win.
I think Kirk Cousins might be afraid of the dark. He just can't play at night. Can't do it, boys.
Bro, poor guy.
I guess my favorite prop is probably going back to defense, boys. I love the Avonte Maddox prop at 4.5. I would write Hawkinson as well, but Zach stole it. He knew to get there in front of me on that.
I know I had to. Yeah, so if you want a 2-man that we're most confident in, probably lock in Hawkinson and Maddox. So
yeah. It would have been Kirk Cousins had he not bumped, but I still love it. I still like it. I just don't love it.
Yeah, that 37.5 was definitely too low. That's why it got bumped.
I don't know. It's either Avonte Maddox or the Jalen Hurts pass down. So either way, you got a Prizepicks 2-man with both teams involved. So yeah, good with those.
Perfect.
Love those.
All right, and Madison sucks too. He'll be throwing. Yeah. No, I like Madison unders today. So If
I
you,
actually took Madison's under 12 and a half rush attempts earlier.
yeah, I did too. And somebody is trying to give me some little heat about it, so we'll see who's right between me and him. I didn't like his reasoning that much, but we'll see. Also on sleeper, dude, Madison's fantasy score is 13.7. I don't know if it still is. If it is, you guys need to go take that under over there because he's at 12 here on Prizepicks and same scoring. So,
Yeah, that's a significant discount there
mm-hmm.
for the under.
All right, let me just go ahead and say the slipper one time and we'll get out of here. Jalen Hurts over 31.5 pass attempts. Jordan Addison over 42.5 receiving yards. T.J. Hawkinson over 7.5 targets. Josh Oliver over 7.5 receiving yards. Avonte Maddox over 4.5 tackles and assists. And good old Kirk over 38.5 pass attempts. Tyler, you got anything else to add?
Nothing else to add. Looking forward to a good game tonight. Let's keep this thing close
Yes,
and
sir.
hopefully see you guys on Saturday night.
Absolutely right. All right, guys. Do us a favor before you leave. Go ahead and like and make sure you're subscribed. We got some more football videos or football streams coming out on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. So